The 70mm Pro dashcam has a parking surveillance feature. It's not a feature I use myself because I don't think there'll be much benefit for me using it. But there have been a number of questions on previous videos about this feature, and obviously there's quite a lot of interest. So this video is to describe that feature. And the number one question I get is, will parking surveillance run just using the dashcam's internal battery? This is because the dashcam is normally connected to the car's 12-volt supply, but with many cars, when you turn the ignition off, you lose power. So will it run just using the internal battery? And the answer is that it will, but only for a limited time. The internal battery is rated at 500 milliamp hours, and I've read that that will give about 10 to 15 minutes recording time. When the dashcam is just monitoring, not actually recording, it will use a small amount of power, but when it records, it will use more power. Inside the dashcam, there's an accelerometer, or G sensor, which records movement. So if the car detects a collision, it will record a 1-minute video. If you just leave your car for a short time and there's a couple of little knocks and it records a couple of videos, that's not going to be a problem with the internal battery. However, if you go on vacation somewhere and leave your car at an airport car park for a couple of weeks and it gets lots of knocks, then the internal battery might not be enough, and in that case it might be better to connect it directly to the fuse box. The manufacturer actually makes a cable to do that. At first I think it was just available in China, but I have seen it advertised on an Australian website. So now it is available in other countries. If you can't get hold of the cable, you could just get an electrician, a car electrician, to do it for you, or maybe you could do it yourself. So back again to the answer, it will work with the internal battery, but only for a limited time. If you're going to leave your car for an extended period, you're better off connecting it directly to the fuse box. So in this video, I will show you how to set up the parking surveillance and show you exactly what it does. Parking surveillance can be set up two ways. You can do it through the mobile phone smart app or directly on the dashcam. I'll be showing you both ways, starting with the mobile phone app. So I've already enabled the Wi-Fi hotspot and connected the app. Just tap on these three little dots at the top and you'll see a menu. Scroll down a little and you'll see parking surveillance, and currently it's disabled. Tap on there and then again, and that will enable parking surveillance, and it also gives you two options. There's parking surveillance sensitivity and enter parking surveillance. The sensitivity depends on whether you want to record every single little bump or just the big bumps. If you're not worried about the little bumps and just want to record the big ones, put it on low sensitivity. If you want to record absolutely everything, use high sensitivity. Enter parking surveillance gives you options for 20, 30, 40 or 50 minutes. When you turn the dashcam off, it doesn't go into parking surveillance mode immediately. It waits 20, 30, 40 or 50 minutes depending on how you set it. At first I wasn't sure why this was. I think it's because when you turn your engine off, you don't leave the car immediately. There'll be people getting out the car, so there'll be doors opening and closing, you'll be getting luggage out, and you don't want to record a parking event every time someone opens or closes a door. So it just gives you a bit of time for everyone to get away from the car before it goes into parking mode. Okay. Next I'll be showing you how to set it up on the device itself, and there are just a few little differences. I'll now do exactly the same thing on the dashcam. Go into the menu, go down to Advanced Settings, then go down to Parking Surveillance, which is currently disabled. Click on that, another click to enable it, and you will see the same sensitivity and turn off cam times that we saw on the app. So that's now enabled. Now go back to the live view, and now you will see a P at the top to show you that the camera will be in parking surveillance when you turn it off. Now when we do turn it off, you'll see a little message, starting parking surveillance after powering off. So it's just confirmation that when it powers off, it will be in parking surveillance mode and any collisions will be detected. You'll also get a warning if you attempt to turn the parking surveillance off. So let's turn the dash cam back on. So it's still in parking surveillance mode, we know that because of the P. Now go back into the menu, down to advanced settings, down into parking surveillance, which is enabled as we already know. Now if I click here and try and turn it off, it gives me a warning. A parking surveillance video is not recorded when a collision occurs when the car is parked. Turn off parking surveillance just wants me to know that it won't record any parking incidents if I turn it off. If that's okay, then I'll just confirm and it will be turned off. And when we go back into live view, there'll be no P at the top. The next thing to do is to test it. So what I'll do, I'll turn the parking surveillance back on, shut the car up, wait for 20 minutes until the parking surveillance is active, replicate a collision by slamming a door, and then see what happens. Let's turn it back on first. Right, it's enabled, so it's in high sensitivity mode and the camera will start parking surveillance 20 minutes after I turn it off. So let's turn it all off and then see what happens. The dash cam has now been switched off in excess of 20 minutes, so the parking surveillance should be activated. So what I'm going to do now is to replicate a collision by opening and closing a few of the doors quite firmly. Hopefully that's done it. Let's go and take a look. If you have left the dash cam in parking surveillance mode, when you return to your car, what you don't want to have to do is to go through every video to see if there's been an incident. You want the dash cam to tell you, and this is what should happen. So if we turn the dash cam on,
there is a new parking surveillance video. Please open the gallery to view it.
Okay, so it tells us and it gives us a message that there's been a new parking surveillance incident. And now we need to look at the videos to see what exactly happened. If you come back to the car and the dash cam tells you that a parking event has occurred, there might actually be quite a lot of videos if you've left the car parked for a long time because they're only 1 minute long. So obviously you want to know which videos contain the parking event. And if you look on the back of the dash cam, on those videos that do contain parking events, there will be a little P. So you can look at those videos using the dash cam or on your computer to see exactly what happened. I mentioned previously that I don't use this parking surveillance feature, and there are a couple of reasons for it. Firstly, when people decide to push shopping trolleys into my car, they normally do so at the side or the back, and the camera only records what happens at the front. Secondly, even if I did record a problem and wanted to go through my insurance company, I'd need a police report. And I have quite a strong feeling that the police won't be interested. They've probably got more important things to worry about than parking incidents. Well, I hope it's been useful. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. And if it has been useful, please consider subscribing to my channel.